Then we move on to the late game Friday night, 9:45 p.m. Eastern. Hawaii Rainbow Warriors open their season with a big win at Wyoming Cowboys, who opened their season with a tough overtime loss. Hawaii put up 332 yards on the ground, their 34-19 win at Fresno State. We talked about that earlier in the show. Their quarterback Cordero connected on 20 of 30, 229 yards, and rushed for 116 yards and 2 TDs. The secondary for Hawaii was very good against Fresno State for 3 picks. Wyoming coming off a 37-34 overtime loss at Nevada. They struggled on the defensive side of the ball against the Wolfpack. They allowed them to score 37 points, rack up 496 yards of offense. Here we go, Mountain West action. John, you are high on these Wyoming Cowboys. Are you going to back them here as 2 or 2.5 point home dogs?
I will pass on this game, even though, based on what you said, is still true. There's a few systems that favor Hawaii in this game, and one of them is you play against all teams, in this case Wyoming, that are lined as 3-point favorites or 3-point dogs within that range of 3 points of pick. And they're coming off a road game where both teams scored 31 or more points, and they're playing an opponent who's off a double-digit road win. So Hawaii is that last part. They had a tremendous win to start the season. Wyoming had to come from behind just to get it into overtime, in which they won, right? My mind just went blank.
Sorry.
Wyoming Cowboys. They
lost 37.
They lost in overtime.
Yeah, 37-34. Right. So you cashed your ticket because you had Wyoming plus 3.5. They stormed back late to take it to overtime.
I think it was – I'm going to have to check that, Jimmy, because I think it was minus 2.5 when we were talking on the show. But we can check that later. It doesn't matter at this point. But, for that reason, I don't like the situation that Wyoming is in to back them. And I just – I don't bet on states with an H in them. Just kidding.
Okay. We have Viper leaning towards Wyoming. We have cash action bets on Wyoming. Let's talk Noli knows and see what he thinks about this Mountain West battle, Hawaii, Wyoming.
Yeah, I think a lot of the question marks for Wyoming kind of came out last week. They knew they'd be physical up front on the defensive end, but there's the question marks of the DBs. They give up 420 yards passing against Nevada, something that really not really what Wyoming is known for. They're known for shutting it down. On the offensive side, really weren't able to get too much going either. I didn't like their offense as much, but still ran for 128 yards. And in this game, I mean, you look at what Hawaii was able to do defensively. It looks pretty good in the turnovers, but they still gave up 289 yards passing. But here, the way these two teams match up and being the fact that it is in Laramie, it is a different type of game for Wyoming when they play at home. They are a very good home team. They have to deal with elevation when going to Wyoming. And to me, they're going to look to play a more physical type of game and change the way that Hawaii plays. You look at last year, the total went 17-13 total in a game that was 3-3 at halftime. I expect a much lower scoring game between these two, and I believe maybe the total goes up because of overreaction. So I'm going to sit back and wait and see if I can get maybe a 57.
And Sean Chambers broke his left fibula. I'm answering Ron Crawford's question. So that happened on the third play from scrimmage against Nevada, and he's broken left fibula. He's going to be out for a while. That's a 4 to 8 weeks injury. And Gerald Martinez says, yep, it's the Levy Williams show. All right, there you go. Hawaii, Wyoming. So at this point, no real looks. C-Mac, is there anything you like here, Hawaii, Wyoming?
Now, the only lean would be on the under. With him being out, the quarterback, Chambers, they're still a run-driven team. It will be slow. That's why I lean under. And Hawaii, in the past few years, it's not like the Hawaii of the past. Chuck it all around. They've been a lot more unders this past year.
Yeah. They ran the ball.
They're definitely turning into a team like that. I lean towards the under here. And Wyoming's got a great offensive line. It's kind of rough to go off the first game. Their defense did give up a lot to UNR, which going in, I thought UNR was just I don't think they're very good, so it was a little disappointing for Wyoming because they played some really good games last year and some duds. So it's hard. A lot of these Mountain West teams do it. Like we talked about Fresno, Colorado State. We see a lot of 4-8 teams out of this conference. It seems like 5-7. That's just it's hard to go week to week because I hear in Vegas I'm up on all these teams all the time, and yeah, don't love this one, but small lean on the under, and it's dropped, right? I had 57.5. It's down to 56.5. Yeah, most places. Yeah.
Dean has a great note. CMAX says temperature in Laramie on Saturday expected to be 48 Fahrenheit. Don't think it's not going to play a factor for a team from Hawaii.
There we go. I agree with it. Totally.
So, Noli, do you think you get to the window with this under?
Yeah, this one I'm leaning towards real hard. I more so like it. Mentioned weather and altitude when you go over there, and then C-Mac kind of alluded to it. You look at the rushing attempts, 53 rushing attempts for Hawaii last week. So a lot heavier to the run, and that favors the Wyoming defense. Only gave up 76 yards rushing, and that is their strong suit. So if they can stop the run, they'll be able to try to take control of this game. This was a game that I might be pulling the trigger on.